Star Wars fans, there are so many rumors floating out on the internet about the direction Star Wars is going and what the next movies are going to be about. Is the New Beyond going to be the major story point? And what will the next Jedi Order look like? We're talking about it all right now.
I love democracy.
A recent Instagram post by Daisy Ridley sparked conversation regarding more sequel trilogy content, as she teased her return to Lucasfilm and presumably Star Wars. There's also speculation floating around that Rey, Poe, and Rose will be appearing in an upcoming project or projects in which we assume will be more sequel-era movies, although nothing has been mentioned about Adam Driver returning as Ben Solo. It's no secret the sequels were divisive, so what does the future of Star Wars look like? And is it possible to tell more sequel trilogy stories and make all fans happy? I think it is. While conversations surrounding more sequel-era projects are happening, we're also seeing reports of a place in the Ahsoka show called The New Beyond, a place never explored in current Star Wars literature or media, so it's completely new for fans, but not necessarily for our in-universe Star Wars characters. A recent article by Jason Ward from Making Star Wars leads us to believe we are going to explore the origins of the Nightsisters in the upcoming Skeleton Crew show, expected to drop in late 2023 or sometime in 2024. The show is rumored to be the Star Wars equivalent to Stranger Things, which I think is really exciting. The article states, rumors suggest the show intersects with the Star Wars Ahsoka series to some degree. The show will explore the origins of the Nightsisters, who are different from the witches we met on Dathomir in the Clone Wars. It sounds like the Space Goonies will have an educational time out there in the stars. The Nightsisters lived on Dathomir and used the planet and the dark side of the Force to wield their magic. They were responsible for the creation of the menacing Savage Press, but were ultimately disbanded after picking a fight with Count Dooku and ultimately Darth Sidious himself, and a majority of the Nightsisters were killed. I think it would be interesting to see a variation of the Nightsisters in the New Beyond, perhaps a group that poses more of a threat to other Force users and the galaxy itself. I think the question moving forward is, will these types of future stories tie to the sequel trilogy? One possible storyline is something similar to Heir to the Empire. This story is familiar to fans, and I think it would be really smart for John and Dave to adapt their story to something similar to Heir to the Empire. It could perhaps even lead to an invasion by the Grisk, prior to the sequel trilogy. Although, I think the sequel trilogy would lack some explanation if a dangerous alien race had any major impact on the galaxy and the rise of the First Order. Another possibility, as a post-sequel trilogy story, is exploring different factions of the Jedi Order. Based on the ending of The Rise of Skywalker, we are led to assume Rey is going to take the lead in restoring the Jedi to their prime, before the events of The Phantom Menace. However, I often question the ending of The Rise of Skywalker, as Palpatine makes it clear that if Rey strikes him down, his essence will transfer to her. We'll circle back to this in a minute. Now, in a previous video, we discussed the possibility of Ezra Bridger turning to the dark side. What if, instead of Ezra Bridger turning to the dark side, he's rescued by Ahsoka and Sabine from the New Beyond, where they also find that Thrawn is working with nefarious dark side Force users to wage war against the Star Wars galaxy we know and love today. Ahsoka and Ezra return to that very galaxy, where they find Rey building her own Jedi Order. They warn Rey of the coming conflict that Thrawn is about to initiate. The three of them, being Rey, Ahsoka, and Ezra, train a new order of Jedi to defend the galaxy from Thrawn's massive navy. Unknown to Ahsoka and Ezra, Rey is possessed with the spirit of Darth Sidious himself. He begins to corrupt the Jedi, manipulating them as he did during the prequel era. Ahsoka, being the manifestation of the light side of the Force, in my opinion, senses the darkness that is corrupting their new order of Jedi, and works with Ezra to recruit some of the Jedi to utilize the Force in their own way. Ezra is torn, as he is loyal and has always been pulled to the dark side himself. This causes tension between the three lead Jedi, and while they are quarreling amongst themselves, the spirit of Palpatine and Thrawn seize the opportunity to wage war on the galaxy. And what comes next? I don't know. But I do know that if Disney decides to use sequel trilogy characters in future stories, I hope they introduce characters like Ahsoka Tano and Ezra Bridger to move the story forward. And I hope we can see different factions of Jedi and how they perceive and use the light side of the Force. Perhaps we could even see the return of Mace Windu in some fashion. Or perhaps an apprentice to the Jedi Master who is all too dogmatic in his beliefs, leading Anakin to turn to the dark side. I would love to see the old Jedi ways be challenged by Ahsoka, who I believe realizes how wrong the Jedi were in the first place. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, subscribe for future content, and comment below. And remember, these are the fans you're looking for.